You two have done some terrific work. Well done. Now, there is a concept in marriage that is related to what you just accomplished with forgiveness, but different. Related to what you accomplished on the board around grace and justice, but different. And it's common. It's a real common word. It's called trust. So let's see if we could break trust into two different skills, and see if you two can identify where your skill set tends to fall. One skill is I am really good at being there. It's kind of like if somebody jumps, I'll catch them. If you have a need, I'm going to be there for you. I am a trustworthy person. Another skill is risk-taking. Like, I'm going to be vulnerable and just kind of open up my heart to you. Like, I'm going to leap. You might be a good catcher. I'm a good leaper. So I'm very good when it comes to trust at making myself vulnerable to you and sharing with you fully how I feel. Okay, on the trustworthy continuum, Madison, where do you lie? Trevor, where do you lie? Like, here's trusting over here and here's trustworthiness. I'm a good leaper. I'm a good catcher. Are you a leaper or a catcher?
I think probably more of a catcher.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's hard for me to open up and express.
Yeah.
And leap.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. How about you, Trevor?
Well, I guess it's very easy for me to be open. And I would say that, you know, I'm more of a risk taker and I'm more of a leaper. So I would probably lean more towards the
Okay.
leaper.
So, imagine what happens in a marriage. Perfect. We have a leaper and a catcher. You leap, I'll catch. You leap, I'll catch. You leap, I'll catch. Starting to feel monotonous so far? You leap, I'll catch. And we do this for a long time. What's good there and what's not good?
I mean, you know, just like what you said, it's monotonous. It's, you know, it's a cycle. It keeps, like we've been talking about up there, it's just another cycle. It's, you know, I'm constantly doing the leaping and she's constantly doing the catching. Like, you know, it's just another cycle that could get, I guess, old. And, you know, it's just, you know.
But on the flip side, sometimes consistency and routine are a good foundation and are safe.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You guys can do a leaping catching process. Now, the task that you both have in having a real secure, stable marriage is for you to play catch. And let's change the metaphor from leaping and catching to throwing and catching. How does the game play if you're just a thrower and you're just a catcher? Play ball. How does it work?
It doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's like having a retriever that doesn't bring the ball back.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any more to throw.
Yeah.
Or I'm always feeling like I'm. So there's a skill set here that you have to develop the disciplines of being a catcher.
Or a thrower.
I'm sorry, a thrower. And you have to develop the disciplines of being a thrower. Both of you have to be catcher and thrower, leaper and catcher. Okay, so when you become, let's imagine the scenario. You want to. It's natural for you to share your feelings. It's natural for you to receive those feelings, to listen to them. Now, what happens when we try to reverse the roles and have you talk about your feelings? What are things that you could do, Trevor, to make her talking about her feelings easier or more difficult? First, how could you make it more difficult?
I guess by not hearing what she has to say, like saying that her feelings are not important enough because my feelings are. I need to talk about my feelings before I can hear about your feelings. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you can make it more difficult and.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And how could you make it more difficult for him to be a receiver, to be a catcher?
By hesitating to offer my emotions when he's asking for them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like if I create a vacuum, he's going to fill it.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Well said. Good. Okay. You have a task. You have another assignment now. Turn to one another and define what the assignment is. Kind of like I laid all the pieces, now pick them up and put them together.
I need to be more of a thrower and open up to you about my feelings. And be honest and free with my expressions to you.
And I need to be more of a catcher and listen to you more than me putting all my feelings on you and being a thrower all the time.
Now I'm going to be to exaggerate the bad. I'd like you to grab her lapel. Literally hold on to both sides of her lapel. And I'd like you to say, it makes me so frustrated when you don't talk to me.
It makes me so frustrated when you don't talk to me.
Okay. Now, what happens in this kind of scenario? That's the perfect look. Like, oh my goodness, I want to find a hole.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So whatever we're doing, we know we're not going to recreate this scenario. And literally, I can't imagine you, Trevor, holding on to her lapel. But emotionally,
Yeah.
I can see that in the ways you've communicated in the past. That makes you expressive. I'm gonna throw more. I'm telling you how I'm feeling. I'm frustrated. You're not available to me. Like, now we want to create the reverse.
Okay.
Now, what kind of physical structure can you guys create right now to show the other type of trusting, where you are the trusting person, where you're leaping, and you are the trustworthy person, where you're just going to receive? We know how to do it badly.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How could you create a structure to do it well? What would it look like physically in these two chairs?
I guess for me, I would want to, turn towards her and be, open to her while she's talking to me, and not sit away and look at her.
Yeah, and I might like hold his hands or some sort of.
Yeah, good. Like, actually do it. Don't like.
Oh.
I might kind of do it. Like, do it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I realize this is kind of a rehearsal, but what kind of things would you say now?
I guess I would say I'm gonna tell you how I feel, about whatever issue we're talking about.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
That's your task. And it's to go from you to you. Your job is to catch. Now, often what happens is the catcher, who's naturally a leaper, will have all kinds of feelings. And I'd like you to sit on them.
Okay.
All the feelings that you have for just this practice scenario, this assignment. Nope, not now. Later.
Okay.
Why?
Because it's not really about me right now. It's about her.
Yeah.
I'm here just to receive what
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
giving to me.
And to reframe it a little bit, it is about you, but it's about a different skill in you. It's not about your expressing your feelings, it's about your receiving somebody else's.
Okay.
And I'm going to be the trustworthy receptacle of anything that you say.
Okay.
And if at some other point, the next day or the 2 days later, it might be a good idea to say, I'd like to hear how you felt when you just listened to me talk.
Okay.
Now there's a whole different scenario where you are invited to be the expressor, to be the thrower, and you are inviting him to be the leaper, because I'll catch you now. Okay, so we're going to make real distinctions between my job as a leaper and my job as a catcher. And we're not going to kind of wrap them up all in one, because if we wrap them up all in one, we're going to revert back to our old styles, because that's what we're natural at doing, and we can do that without even thinking. Okay?
Okay.
Questions or ideas to how could you make it better?
I mean, I guess the way we can make it even better is maybe instead of like just sitting down at the house, maybe we do it somewhere else. Maybe we make like a date night out of it, or maybe instead of sitting down, maybe we go on a walk, or just change environments, I guess.
Good.
Yeah, or if instead of, making it this huge event where it's time to sit down and do the exercise, we do it more frequently so that it becomes more natural.
Yeah. Yeah. You two have done some great work with the sessions with both Dr. Jin and me. Thanks. Let's summarize what happened over our times together here. You came in with articulating a pretty troubled marriage. We're at divorce court, but we're not seeing much hope here. Is that a fair summary where we are, or where we started?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we attended to a couple of really important ideas. What were they? Walk through what kind of things you were exposed to throughout all of the different sessions that you've had. Can you start from the beginning and walk through step by step?
We started with addressing the issue that brought us in, the big blow up that we had, and then we addressed patterns with each other that lead to blow ups, and then we looked at our histories and upbringings and things that have made us who we are, and then we patterned out the cycle that brings us to this place of frustration every time, and we identified how we react to certain scenarios, and then talked about grace and giving the gift of, I guess, stepping outside of your comfort zone for the sake of the other person, and then we talked about forgiveness. Did I miss anything?
And trust.
And trust. Yes.
Good. And here's what we know from the research. If you have a good marriage or a bad marriage, bad marriages don't tend to act graciously. They don't tend to act, let me think about what I can do for the other person. They tend to act, what do I need to do for myself because the other person is not going to do anything for me. There's that internal conflict cycle where I'm doing more of my natural defenses, provoking more defenses in the other person, which is going to keep us locked there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we learn about this grace pattern of I'm going to alter that. Instead of doing the pain defense that I do naturally, I'm going to change. And my husband or wife is going to change together, and we're going to implement a series of skills. Working at justice, and that which is the balance of who I am and what I need to be. It's the I'm being accepted, but I'm not accepting of all the things I have to grow. Then listening and empathy, forgiving, trust building. If a couple is doing those things, kind of like outside the circle,
Mm-hmm.
by definition, they have a good marriage. The more we do the things inside, and you will continue to do those defenses. But if that's all we do, we'll feel like our marriage is not much. The more we, along with those internal defensive cycles, we're implementing those other things. If there's more grace, if there's more justice, if there's more empathy, if there's more forgiveness, if there's more trust, like, oh my goodness, before we know it, we have a marriage that leads us to that internal circle in the red.
Mm.
I want to be a team. I want to have a partnership. I want to have a friendship. I want to feel listened to. You guys are there. Thoughts, comments before we close?
Thanks.
Delighted.
Yeah. It's interesting that, what we thought was something that was the end of the world ended up being something that you could actually pinpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason why, and there's steps available to help. So
Yeah.
That, and it was surprising to me how many things from our adolescence have affected us as adults.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that there was a correlation there, but when we mapped it out and looked at the patterns of pain and defense,
Mhm.
it all made sense.
Yeah.
So, but it's nice that there's a solution to it. So.
Very good.